Opinions expressed on this show are those of the host and guests and not necessarily the opinions of the owners of Global Communications Network and the
Today can be the turning point in your life by making a simple decision.
Fundamental questions of navigation. Where am I? Where am I going? And how do I get there from here?
I invite the leaders of our planet to ask themselves these three questions before they make any crucial decisions.
But if you don't make decisions, you're going to stay right where you are.
We are all map makers.
We are in a time of transition.
If we're going to change, we have to change the direction that we're going.
Our planet needs leaders who know where they want to go.
When we change the direction we're going, then we want to make sure we're going in the right direction.
Leaders who can see the big picture.
Because if we're not, we're going to either go backwards or we're going to stay where we are.
Recognizing the psychological and the spiritual shifts and changes that need to be made, often from the inside to the outside.
To be able to shape your future, you have to be willing and able to change your paradigm.
Complex journeys require navigation. The path to the truth is one such journey. This is your GPS. Hairstyling services provided by J.D. Edwards Salon and Spa, Palmdale Shopping Plaza, Madera Street. Accessories provided by Chevette Williamson Jewelry. Standout jewelry for standout women. Good afternoon, one and all, and welcome to GPS Global Paradigm Shift on Global 99.5 FM. I am your host, Michelle Malcolm, and as always, it's a pleasure to be in your company today. Thank you so much for tuning in and making GPS a part of your afternoon. So every Wednesday, we focus on something as it relates to health, and seeing that in a couple of days, I will be celebrating another trip around the sun. I decided that this show I'm going to dedicate to anti-aging. Because if you're anything like me, I live it on the vain side. I think it's sacrilegious to show your age. I think you're supposed to always look better than your chronological age. And I say chronological age because, as we're going to learn in this show, the chronological age, meaning your age as it relates to the year you were born, is not necessarily the age that you need to be concerned with, because you have two ages, and we're gonna dive deep into the science behind all of this during this show today. But you actually have two ages. One of them is your chronological age, which is the number based on the year you were born. But the more important age that you have is your biological age. How old is your body from a biological standpoint? Because it could very well be where you are a certain age, but your body is way older than the age that is showing up on your passport. So we're going to be taking a look at anti-aging today, both from a scientific perspective and, of course, an holistic perspective, because you know that's what I am all about. And so I promise you that the information, if you pay attention today, is going to really help you to understand what you need to do, not just to live longer, because the goal is not just to extend the years, but to live healthier, to live longer and healthier. That's the goal. I don't want to get old if it means being old and sick. That don't make any sense. If you can be sick and suffering, you might as well die younger. Everybody wants to get, older, but nobody wants to grow old. And so what this show today is going to be about is how to age in reverse, how to reverse or slow down the aging process, so that you're not just living longer, but you are living healthier as well. That's very, very important. Big difference between the two. So the telephone numbers to call are 326-0271, 326-0271. One more time, 326-0271, or 326-0272, 326-0272, 326-0272. And our new WhatsApp line to send us a message, a text message, do not call, is 801-0271, 801-0271. I have to get used to that new number. 801-0271 is the WhatsApp number to send us a message if you have a comment or a question. So let's dive right into this whole aging thing. Because, you know, a lot of things are being blamed on aging. A lot of ailments, a lot of things that you're experiencing, you're blaming on, oh, you know, I'm getting older now. And so, you know, yeah, I guess this is to be expected because I'm getting older now. No, you're going to learn during this show. And once again, listen to the message, but don't hate the messenger. But you're going to learn during this show that a lot of what you are attributing to getting older, it's really just pure neglect. Because it's not a normal part of aging. We have become so used to becoming old and sick that we think that sickness is a normal part of aging. That, you know, it's normal for your body to just break down over time, and that's normal. But you're going to learn during the show that that's not normal. That's just what we expect to happen. But your body was designed to regenerate itself. Your body's designed by God to regenerate. So even though a lot of us are walking around sick, you know, and tired, and sick and tired of being sick and tired, truth be told, a lot of us are sick and tired because we just are not taking care of our bodies. And this is why our bodies are breaking down. And so as you're going to learn, and again, we're coming from a scientific perspective, so you're going to learn the science behind it all, as well as an holistic perspective as to what you can do to not only slow down this process, but reverse it as well. So let's begin by taking a look at what causes our bodies to age. Why do our bodies age? Let's go, Jason, to clip number 1.
1997, a French woman named Jeanne Calment passed away after 122 years and 164 days on this earth. Her age was so astounding that a millionaire pledged $1 million to anyone who could break her record. But in reality, living to this age or beyond is a feat that very few, maybe even no humans, are likely to accomplish. Human bodies just aren't built for extreme aging. Our capacity is set at about 90 years. But what does aging really mean? And how does it counteract the body's efforts to stay alive? We know intuitively what it means to age. For some, it means growing up, while for others, it's growing old. Yet finding a strict scientific definition of aging is a challenge. What we can say is that aging occurs when intrinsic processes and interactions with the environment, like sunlight and toxins in the air, water, and our diets, cause changes in the structure and function of the body's molecules and cells. Those changes in turn drive their decline and subsequently the failure of the whole organism. The exact mechanisms of aging are poorly understood, but recently scientists have identified 9 physiological traits, ranging from genetic changes to alterations in a cell's regenerative ability, that play a central role. Firstly, as the years pass, our bodies accumulate genetic damage in the form of DNA lesions. These occur naturally when the body's DNA replicates, but also in non-dividing cells, organelles called mitochondria are especially prone to this damage. Mitochondria produce adenosine triphosphate, or ATP, the main energy source for all cellular processes. Plus, mitochondria regulate many different cell activities and play an important role in programmed cell death. If mitochondrial function declines, then cells, and later on whole organs, deteriorate too. Other changes are known to occur in the expression patterns of genes, also known as epigenetic alterations, that affect the body's tissues and cells. Genes silenced or expressed only at low levels in newborns become prominent in older people, leading to the development of degenerative diseases like Alzheimer's, which accelerate aging. Even if we could avoid all these harmful genetic alterations, not even our own cells could save us. The fact remains that cellular regeneration, the very stuff of life, declines as we age. The DNA in our cells is packaged within chromosomes, each of which has two protective regions at the extremities called telomeres. Those shorten every time cells replicate. When telomeres become too short, cells stop replicating and die, slowing the body's ability to renew itself. With age, cells increasingly grow senescent too, a process that halts the cell cycle in times of risk, like when cancer cells are proliferating. But the response also kicks in more as we age, halting cell growth and cutting short their ability to replicate. Aging also involves stem cells that reside in many tissues and have the property of dividing without limits to replenish other cells. As we get older, stem cells decrease in number and tend to lose their regenerative potential, affecting tissue renewal and maintenance of our organs' original functions. Other changes revolve around cells' ability to function properly. As they age, they stop being able to do quality control on proteins, causing the accumulation of damaged and potentially toxic nutrients, leading to excessive metabolic activity that could be fatal for them. Intercellular communication also slows, ultimately undermining the body's functional ability. There's a lot we don't yet understand about aging. Ultimately, does longer life as we know it come down to diet, exercise, medicine, or something else? Will future technologies like cell-repairing nanobots or gene therapy artificially extend our years? And do we want to live longer than we already do? Starting with 122 years as inspiration, there's no telling where our curiosity might take us.
Now, just so you know, a lot of people look at the Bible and say, oh, the Bible promised us 70. Actually, the Bible promised us 120 years. But few people get there. And one of the reasons why few people get there, and she went into a lot of details in that video, but one of the things that wasn't said in that video is that natural that degeneration that she talked about after you hit a certain age, that particularly happens when you are not giving your body what it needs to function at optimal levels. Because what you're going to learn during this show is that it is very possible to not only slow down that process, but turn back the hands on the clock, reverse that process. So clearly, even though if you look all around you, you will see people who are actually going through that process. And, the older they get, the older they look, the person who was once vibrant and young and virile is now old and, once a man, twice a child type of thing. That has a lot to do with what they did to their bodies or what they did not do to their bodies during that whole journey of life. And so it's not inevitable for you to be old and sick. It's not inevitable. And that's the key thing I want you to understand during this show. And like I said, we're going to go into a lot of detail about the science behind aging. And then we're going to spend some time talking about, how you can ensure that you are not one of those people who are, you know, becoming a victim of of your own body. So when it comes to anti-aging, the trend of thought is aging is inevitable. But what if it really isn't? Let's take a look at the latest science and how it might be possible to slow our own aging. So I'm going to play in the first portion a series of clips that were taken from a video called "The Science of Slowing Down Aging." And in this clip, we learn what is the difference. In the series of clips, we'll learn the difference between our chronological age and our biological age. Remember, I explained that at the top, that you have two ages. So Dr. Morgan Levine is an expert on aging. And in these clips, she sits down to explain how this works. And in the very first clip of this series, she's going to be talking about what some people refer to as zombie cells. And these zombie cells, as she will explain in this clip, are very much responsible, or a very big part of the problem as it relates to why people's bodies break down and why people show signs of aging. So I'll take it from here, Jason. Here now is clip number 2 with the good doctor talking about the zombies in your body.
At a certain age, for many, their body starts feeling like it's falling apart. Medications pile up, doctor's appointments fill the calendar. Aging is inevitable. But what if it wasn't?
Great news about aging that probably most of us don't know is we actually have a lot more control over the aging process than we think.
Let's take a look at the latest science and how it might be possible to slow our own aging. According to Dr. Levine's upcoming book, True Age, we have two ages: our chronological age, the one we celebrate at our birthdays, and our biological age, our body's lifespan.
Biological age can be defined as the state of decline or the state of divergence that your body has undergone as a function of time.
Lethargy, graying, balding, wrinkling, dementia, playing bingo. We know the symptoms of aging, but what causes it?
As we age, our cells change a lot of their states, and they can actually transition to different kinds of cells. One type of cellular state is what's called senescence. Various types of cells can convert to this, and a lot of people refer to senescent cells as zombie cells. That's because these are cells that, due to some stress, basically lose the ability to proliferate or to make copies of themselves. So they're no longer going to generate new cells. At the same time, these cells are resistant to death. When cells undergo some damage, one way to prevent cancer is that damaged cells are just going to commit suicide and be taken out of the body. But senescent cells, they remain in the body, so they're not dead, but they're also not proliferative. So this is why people refer to them as zombie cells.
Wait, aging might be caused by zombie cells within our own body?
Some people believe that senescent cell accumulation is the main driver of aging, that this drives the inflammation that we see with aging, which ultimately is driving the dysfunction that arises throughout our bodies. It's still debatable whether senescence is truly driving it, but there is some interesting experiments giving some evidence to this. So people can actually take cells and have actually injected them into mice. And what you see is that this actually can shorten the lifespan of a mouse. They're constantly excreting a bunch of pro-inflammatory cytokines and also growth factors. They can also make the neighboring cells prone to becoming cancerous. As more and more of these senescent cells accumulate in tissues, we see a lot of tissue dysfunction. People think that this is actually contributing to various age-related conditions that we see.
Okay, so you heard the clip talk about normal part of aging. I'll just touch on one because I want you to understand that you're not doomed to get old if you make some just simple changes. Now, the clip talked, I thought it was kind of funny when they said a sign of aging is playing bingo. But one of the things the clip talked about just now was one of the signs of aging, for instance, is gray hair. And this is what we've been taught to believe, that gray is, you start getting gray and your only option is to go to the salon and ask them to cover it up with dye, or just go all gray. But what if I told you that you could actually reverse that gray without coloring it, without covering it up with some kind of dye? And see, what you need to understand is that when you cover that up with dye, all you're doing is hiding the problem or masking the problem. So you look in the mirror and you see a head full of black hair, but under that dye, you're still gray. And the reason why you need to be concerned about that is because that's not just an aesthetic concern. Now, don't get me wrong. Some people have the most beautiful gray hair. Gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous. And whereas it might look beautiful, the challenge is that is a symptom not of aging, but that is a symptom of a nutritional deficiency, which, if it goes unaddressed, could lead to something as serious as death. I can hear you out there now. What are you talking about, Michelle? Aging is it just goes hand in hand with gray. No, that's what we've been taught, but that's not exactly true. I have met 14-year-olds who are graying. So how do you explain a 14-year-old graying if this is a normal part of aging? Clearly, a 14-year-old should not be getting gray hair if this was just a normal part of aging. So gray hair is a symptom. It's your body's way of telling you that it is lacking something. And I have personal experience. And once you give your body the thing that it is lacking, your hair will turn back to its natural color. Now, here's the reason why you need to be concerned if you're going gray. And I don't care what age, whether it's 14 or 90. This is why it's not just an aesthetic thing. Because graying hair is a sign of a copper deficiency. And when your body is not getting adequate copper, then you run the risk of developing conditions like aneurysms. I want you to think of one of the most famous white-haired people in the world, Albert Einstein. He was known for a head full of white hair. He died of an aneurysm. And I can't tell you the number of people who I know who loved one, premature graying, ignored it because they thought, oh, it's just a normal part of aging, and end up with some kind of problem like an aneurysm. Simply because their bodies weren't getting sufficient copper. And once you start giving your body the copper that it needs, your hair turns back without dyes. So this is just one small example of how the body can regenerate, reverse the aging process, fix itself. And you're going to hear a lot more about this from a scientific perspective as we go through the show. But your body is able to regenerate, to turn back the hands of time if it is given what it needs. And the beauty is, it doesn't matter how old you are. Once you give it what it needs, it still kicks back into action. God is so amazing. That's why I don't understand how people don't believe in God, because the intricacies, the complex way that our bodies work, all of the systems, and this couldn't just happen. Anyway, that's another show. But I want you to understand that if you are experiencing some kind of age-related ailment, know that that is not normal. It is not normal for you to get gray just because you're aging. That's just a sign that your body needs something. Give your body what it needs, and it turns back the hands of time. Literally, you will start to look younger. And, you know, there are things that can help to age you faster. If you're being exposed to a toxin, for instance, you're going to age real fast. It literally makes you look older and feel older as well. If you are constantly under stress, that will age you because your body's not designed to handle long-term stress, nor is it designed to handle toxins at that level. So there are some things that can actually age you faster. Things like a malfunctioning thyroid could contribute to the body's system aging faster. So this is why we need to understand what we need to do to reverse this. And it's not just a matter of being vain. It's a matter of ensuring that if you are going to live longer, you live longer and healthier, because it doesn't make sense to be lingering and you sick. Nobody wants to go through that. So you would have heard in that first clip about the zombies that are in your body that are creating havoc, wreaking havoc. These cells that aren't quite regenerating but wouldn't die. So they're just in there causing a problem. So what we're going to do on the other side of the break is we are going to understand how you find out what your biological age is, because that's the one that's important. You know, Ronnie Butler has a song that says, age ain't nothing but a number. Age ain't nothing but a number to a certain degree, but your biological age is much more than just a number. And that's the one that you need to be concerned about. We're going to talk about it on the other side of the break. So stay with us. This is GPS.
Understanding your microbiome, also known as your gut ecosystem, can change everything you thought you knew about nutrition, digestion, immunity, and metabolism. Keeping your gut ecosystem healthy and balanced is essential. Ultimate Microbiome by Youngevity was specifically formulated to optimize this ecosystem. It provides the advanced support your gut needs through prebiotic, probiotic, and postbiotic supplementation. Our unique blend of probiotics includes Lactobacillus and Plantarum, healthy bacteria that can help prevent harmful bacteria from taking over your gut. Increasing your gut's population of beneficial bacteria creates a more balanced gut microbiome, which has been shown to aid in weight loss, skin health, sleep, mood, and may even help with seasonal allergies. Ultimate Microbiome also promotes the production of postbiotics. Postbiotics are key to help regulate your gastrointestinal health. To enhance digestion, Digizyme Multi-Enzyme Complex, a blend of 5 specific enzymes, has been added to Ultimate Microbiome. It can help break down food so your body can better absorb nutrients. Plus, we've added our proprietary I-26 Hyperimmune Egg Powder to aid in the elimination of disease-causing gut bacteria and help your body balance its immune response. Ultimate Microbiome, the scientific, proprietary, and holistic approach to gut health that helps optimize your body's entire gut ecosystem. To learn more, contact your Youngevity associate.
Welcome to Sunshine Auto, the hardest place on the planet for a rims, paints, and tires.
We are your auto superstore for rims, Lexani, Azaras, Trueform, Western, Lux, Fuel, Tracklight, Tough, Rough Racing, Velocity, Mud, All-Terrain, and low-profile tires, cars, homes, and commercial window tinting. At Sunshine Auto, we put God first and customer is king.
Glasses love.
To stay healthy, it's crucial to make sure you get the nutrition you need every day. But it's difficult to get all your recommended vitamins and minerals from food alone. Even in the United States, 94% of people are deficient in at least one nutrient. Beyond Tangy Tangerine 2.0 by Youngevity is a simple, convenient, and affordable way to help your body get the essential nutrients it needs. It's an advanced plant-driven multivitamin mineral complex that contains certified organic whole foods, trace minerals, and antioxidants. BTT 2.0 supports your body's natural defense system with a proprietary blend of energy-boosting and body-loving nutrients, plus prebiotics, probiotics, amino acids, and enzymes that support digestion. With an unusually high ORAC score of 8,000, you get even more antioxidants to help combat free radicals that can cause damage to your cells. But to get the most benefit and value from any multivitamin, your body must be able to break down the nutrients so you can fully absorb them. Otherwise, they'll just pass through your system without doing any good. Beyond Tangy Tangerine 2.0 was specially formulated with synergizing cofactors to ensure you get maximum nutrient absorption. Beyond Tangy Tangerine 2.0 is the easiest way to give your body the balance and complete daily vitamin mineral supplement it needs for optimal support of your overall health. To learn more, contact your Youngevity associate.
This portion of GPS is brought to you by Tiki Bikini Hut at Junkanoo Beach. Great food, cool tropical drinks, and family fun in the sun. And welcome back to GPS, Global Paradigm Shift on Global 99.5 FM. Michelle Malcolm here on this Wellness Wednesday. And we are talking anti-aging, how to turn back the hands of time as it relates to your age. Because, if you're anything like me, I ain't going down without a fight. When I say my age out loud, it's almost shocking. It's like, what? That don't even sound right. Like, how? How are you going to beat this up? But, what's the alternative? You age or you die young. And nobody wants to die young. Everybody wants to get, everybody wants to, to live, but nobody wants to get old. So the good news is you don't have to get old. Aging is not the same as getting old. And you're going to learn that there is something that you can do about it to make sure that you age well, that you can live well into the golden years and beyond without being a burden to yourself or to anyone else because you failed to be a good steward of your body. So the telephone numbers to call 3260271, 3260271, 3260271, or 3260272, 3260272. And the new WhatsApp line to send us a message, 8010271. That's 8010271. Please do not call the WhatsApp line because we are going to decline the call because we cannot get your call onto the show on the WhatsApp line. So it's only for messages, okay? So I see a couple of you are commenting. So Debbie says, awesome show, Michelle. Thank you, Debbie. Glad you're enjoying it. Bruce says, good afternoon. South Florida is watching. Hey, South Florida. Thank you, Bruce. And Debbie says, profound, Michelle. So if you know a boomer, anybody who's in our age group, and they're struggling, you need to tell them watch this show. Call them up, like and share the show on Facebook. Let them know that we are on the air and we're sharing some information today that is going to change their life if they decide to listen. Because I tell you, boy, I got some friends who my age group, and I look at them and I say, boy, what happened to them? No reason why they're supposed to be looking like that. No reason why. Pure neglect or some kind of exposure to a toxin. And another thing that will obviously age you very quick is sickness. If you're very sick, it could age you quickly. So we're going to look at all of this today in terms of what you can do to slow down the process and even reverse the process. It is very possible, y'all. Because I will tell you this, when I was being exposed to mold many years ago, that thing was aging me so fast. It really, really was. And when I finally figured out what was going on and I got out of the moldy environment and I started to heal my body, et cetera, about a year or so after I got free of that, I saw someone that I have known who saw me when I was going through it. And he said to me, "Michelle, what are you doing?" I said, "What do you mean?" He said, "The last time I saw you, you looked very old. But now you look so much younger. What are you doing?" I said, "Wow." He said, "No, you were looking really, really old. But that's because I was being exposed to poison every day." So once you get your body in a good, clean environment and you are taking good care of your body and giving your body what it needs, I'm telling you, you can reverse this. But we're talking about the science behind all of this today, helping you to understand what it is that is causing your body to age. And in the last clip, we would have learned about the zombies that are taking up residence in our bodies and helping to, slow everything down. So in this next clip, we are going to look at how to determine your biological age. Because like I said prior to the break, that's the age that you need to be concerned with. You may look pretty good on the outside, but if your biological age is further ahead than you are, than how you look, the biological age is the one that's going to determine how long you live. So that's the one you need to be concerned about, eh? The biological age. How old are you biologically? Let's take a look at this clip that explains.
The average 30-year-old chronologically is probably 30 years old biologically. But you have some distribution where you have probably about half of your 30-year-olds are going to be older biologically than they are chronologically, and another half, which is younger.
So how can someone find out their true age, their biological age?
Scientists have defined what we call hallmarks of aging, molecular or cellular changes that we see tend to track with the aging process. There's two different types of data you can use to estimate your biological age. One might be your clinical data, the basic lab tests that you might go get from your doctor's office.
This is basically what you're getting when you have a yearly physical and the doctor screens your cholesterol, thyroid, and glucose levels.
So you would get back your results and you could input it into online calculators that are already available.
Biological markers are one way to get a sense of a person's biological age. What's another test?
One that my lab actually studies called epigenetic modifications. This is not changes in the DNA sequence itself. It's the activity of genes. So something that's happening on top of the DNA. So it's basically turning off or repressing certain parts of the genome while activating others. In 2018, we developed one of these biological age measures based on epigenetics. We measure the amount of these chemical modifications at very specific sites on your genome to actually give you your biological age.
So an epigenetic test is different from clinical blood work tests. Epigenetics measures the stuff attached to specific locations throughout your genome.
And by looking at this pattern, we can say to someone whether they have the biological features of someone who is actually the same chronological age as them, or hopefully like someone younger than them. We developed an algorithm that could be used to predict biological age as accurately as possible. Now, this is available to consumers. You basically have this tube here that you would spit into, fill it up to the line, and then put it back in the box. And it actually ships to a laboratory that's going to extract your DNA and measure these chemical modifications to your DNA, run it through the algorithm that we developed, and in a few weeks you get an email saying, here's your biological age.
But the trillion-dollar question for the medical industry is, can we reverse aging? In a Benjamin Button sort of way. Can you actually take people who have aged and actually revert them back to a healthier state?
Right now, there is not cutting-edge science for changing your biological age. It's really what your mother or grandmother or father told you. Don't smoke, drink moderately, get a lot of exercise, although not excessively, sleep in terms of your quality of sleep, but also get enough sleep, and try and maintain low levels of stress from day to day. But there's a lot on the horizon in terms of what the scientific field is discovering. Maybe in the next decade or two, we might have therapeutics to slow the aging process.
So, sidebar, there's a really great book that was co-written by Dr. Joel Wallach, and I highly recommend it. It's called Epigenetics, The Death of the Genetic Theory of Disease Transmission. You really ought to read it because it really goes into detail about this whole science of epigenetics and what it is, and how it affects your longevity and that kind of thing. But here's the thing. A lot of science and research is being done now to find out how to interrupt this process. And we're going to go even deeper into the research aspect of it during this show. And I smile as I watch it, because at the end of all of this science and research, they come right back to the same thing that we holistic health coaches have been preaching all along. And that is that you can have the fountain of youth if you just take care of your body. And many of the things that they're discovering scientifically now are really just uncovering the science behind why that works. But it doesn't change the fact that that works. So, again, what we have to understand is that, we only get this one body on this side of eternity. You only get this one body. And this body was designed, as we're learning as we go through these clips, to regenerate itself. And yes, there are things that can go wrong, but for the most part, when things are going wrong, it's because we are not giving our bodies the building blocks that they need to do the job that they were designed to do. So it's like you hire a contractor to build a house, and you want him to build a house out of concrete, but he runs out of concrete and he decides, okay, I don't have any more concrete, so I'm just going to substitute something else. So he goes and he gets straw instead, and he starts using straw to build a structure instead of concrete. Well, eventually, even if he covers up the straw to make it look pretty, eventually the house is going to start to crumble, because what he built it with, the first hurricane that passes, you're going to have a problem, because what that contractor built the house with wasn't robust enough to help the house withstand any kind of challenge. So if you use that same way of thinking for your bodies, our bodies require certain elements to be able to withstand the hurricanes of life. Whether that be the stresses of life or the toxins you may be exposed to, or just living every day. All of the multiple complex things that your body is supposed to perform, that requires certain building blocks. And the challenge is when we don't give our bodies the building blocks, but yet our bodies have to continue to perform these functions, inevitably something is going to break. Something is going to start to degenerate. And then on top of that, we're doing damage to our bodies. We're giving our bodies things that they should not have. So, and it's not bad enough that we're not giving our bodies what they do need to function optimally, but on top of that, we're giving it what it doesn't need. And so it's just a matter of time before something breaks. And then we go around and we say, oh, this is just age. I old now, so this is a part of life. No, boo. It ain't that. You just didn't give your body what it needed. You didn't take care of your body. And on top of that, you did damage. So the more you don't give it what it needs, and the more you do damage to it, the older you get. And I need y'all to understand this because that is a key part of aging, a very, very key part of aging. So we learned about the zombie cells that wouldn't die but wouldn't regenerate. We just learned about how to determine our biological age. Now we're going to learn that it's not enough just to live longer, as I would have said a few minutes ago, but the goal ought to be living longer and healthier. That ought to be the goal. And believe it or not, it is possible to do that.
Remember the zombie cells from earlier that many believe drive aging? One approach centers on removing senescent cells from the body.
Scientists have been really determined to try and target and remove these cells. There's actually a new class of drugs that scientists are testing called senolytics, which actually target what we call the Achilles heel of these cells. So the fact that these cells are resistant to death, so this is an upregulation of a certain pathway, they actually target cells that have this upregulation, kill them, and then they get removed by our immune system.
That sounds like an idea still on the horizon. What about a secret fountain of youth hack for today?
As of right now, there's no secret hack. There are places throughout the world that we call blue zones, which are these regions or hot spots of longevity, places where you have a much higher proportion of people who survive to at least 100. These places are kind of scattered throughout the world. There's one in the United States called Loma Linda in California, and people aren't sure why these blue zones exist. Perhaps these are areas where people have better health behaviors or perhaps even less stress. There are definitely these shared nutritional habits of these groups. However, it hasn't been definitively shown whether these factors are directly responsible to the longevity advantage we see in these populations.
What about Dr. Levine? Has she tried to intervene to slow her own aging?
I have measured my biological age repeatedly over the last year. I ended up being younger biologically than I was chronologically, but given how much effort I put in, it wasn't really where I wanted it to be. So now over the next year, I'm really making an effort to be much more rigorous to see if I can actually figure out how to get that number even lower. We all know what our lifespan means, right? It's the amount of time you're going to be alive. But more important than lifespan is something that aging researchers call health span, the amount of time you're alive, but without any disease or without the onset of the physical impairments that tend to be associated with aging. So when we talk about intervening in the aging process, this is what we're actually trying to extend. We don't want to just keep people living longer in an unhealthy state. We want to keep them living longer in the healthiest state possible for as long as possible.
So you don't forget now, she's a scientist. So remember she said in that clip just now that, there is a shared nutritional component to these blue spots around the world where people live to be so old. But there's no definitive proof that that has anything to do with it. Typical scientists. So they are working hard to try to find a way to sort of come up with a anti-aging pill or some kind of medicine that you can take that can actually do all of this stuff that she just described. But you don't have to wait 10 years for them to develop a pill. That's the point of the show. You can actually do that now. Even though you won't have definitive scientific proof that this is what is working, it works. So what's more important? Your scientific direct proof that it's working or the fact that it's working? You cannot get around the importance of nutrition for the body. You just can't. And yes, there is, and we're going to go even deeper into the research side of this in the show. And the reason why I wanted to do that is because that helps us to understand scientifically what is happening in your body, the processes that it takes to keep you healthy and all that kind of stuff. It's good to know, good to understand. But I want you to understand that against the backdrop that you have to give your body the building blocks in order to build a house, in order to keep that house good and strong. So everything that you learn from the scientists today, understand that with that backdrop in mind, that there's a reason why these processes are faltering in the majority of people. It's not because it's a normal part of aging. It's because we are not giving our bodies what they need. Somebody's asking about supplements that are high in copper or, okay, so longevity. Okay, so copper, here's what I don't want y'all to do. I don't want y'all to go run out to the pharmacy now and buy up all the copper off of the shelf, because it doesn't quite work that way. There's something that we call fractionated nutrition. This is where people make the mistake all the time, because they say, well, Michelle, I think I'm doing well. I take my C and I take my B complex and I take my D and and they list off about, say, 6 different vitamins, C and D and all this. I take it on these, I feel I'm doing good. I'm like, okay, so you're taking 6. What about the other 84 that your body needs? You can't be guilty of what we call fractionated nutrition, where you only just getting this little bit and thinking that, well, I'm doing good because at least I'm getting this little bit. No, because your body needs a lot more. For instance, when it comes to copper works well with selenium. It works better when you're taking it with selenium. So one of the things that, and then you have to know the exact amount that you should be taking, because copper is a trace mineral, meaning you don't need a lot of it. You just need the right amount. But you go, then you start taking all this copper, you may end up taking too much. So you really just need trace, it should be measured in the right amount to take. But copper works better with selenium. So what longevity has done is it has infused copper into our selenium product. So whenever I start to see gray, I see it right now because I've been taking my selenium as of late. I've decided to be consistent with that because selenium is also good for the thyroid. And I already told you guys my story about my thyroid. So I decided, I'm just healing this thing naturally. And so I've upped the amount of selenium I take to help to get my thyroid back to where it ought to be in terms of functioning on its own. Obviously, since I started that, the gray is pretty much just about all gone, because I started to see a little gray here, a little gray there, 1 or 2 here or there. And now they're gone because I gave my body what it needed to reverse that. So you got to be careful, people. You have to be very wary of not being guilty of fractionated nutrition, and this is why the approach that we take as holistic health coaches who have been trained by the institute that I was trained by, we don't believe in just, like, somebody asked me a question. If somebody comes to you with this problem, do you help them? I said, well, we don't focus on just the symptom. We try to figure out what caused the symptom. And we focus on the root cause of the problem. We fix that, and then the symptom goes away. And how do we fix that? We identify the areas that they are suffering the most in terms of nutritional deficiencies, and then we put them on a very specific program that deals with their specific need, because everybody's different. So my need would be very different from your need. We don't share a body. So this is why we take such a very specific approach to helping you to achieve optimal health, because it's all about what is going on in your body, and that is how we make recommendations as to what you specifically need. But if you have gray hair, trust me, that's a nutritional deficiency. And once you give your body the nutrition it needs, your body will just turn the hair color back to its normal color. It's amazing. Your body is an incredible healing machine. Trust me on that. It was designed, and we're going to learn more about it on the other side of this break. It was designed to be able to heal itself. Written into your DNA that your body is designed to heal itself. So why are people getting old and sick? We're going to talk about the science of it on the other side of the break. So let's take this quick break. And then when we come back, we're going to dive into some research that's been going on for several years, where they have actually been able to not only slow down the aging process through these experiments, but speed it up based on this science. So we're going to talk about that on the other side of the break. Stay with us. This is GPS again. If you know anybody who is interested in living younger, longer, like and share the show. Give them a call. Let them know that we're on the air. The telephone numbers to call, 326-0271, 326-0271, or 326-0272, 326-0272, and the WhatsApp number is 801-0271, 801-0271. We'll be back after these words from our sponsors.
Your body's immune system is under constant pressure from things like stress, lack of exercise, and toxins in the environment. It's crucial to be proactive and support your immune system with the nutrients it needs to function effectively. But it's often hard to get these nutrients from food alone. Introducing fast-acting Zinc Plus Immune Support by Longevity. Unlike zinc-only supplements, Zinc Plus Immune Support builds on the proven power of zinc and adds complementary nutrients to give your immune system extra support. Vitamin D helps balance the effects of zinc, while our proprietary blend of natural fruit and root extracts provides the extra help your immune system needs to work against daily stressors. And we've included Longevity's exclusive plant-derived minerals to give your body the minerals it needs, but can't get from food alone. And because Zinc Plus Immune Support is delivered in a great-tasting, sugar-free, berry-flavored lozenge, it encourages quicker absorption of all these nutrients into your body. Zinc Plus Immune Support. Zinc plus the extra support your body needs to promote a healthy immune system. To learn more, contact your Longevity associate.
Welcome to Sunshine Auto, the hardest place on the planet for rims, paints, and tires.
We are your auto superstore for rims, Lexani, Azaras, Trueform, Western, Lux, Fuel, Tracklight, Tough, Rough Racing, Velocity, Mud, All-Terrain, and low-profile tires. Cars, homes, and commercial window tinting. At Sunshine Auto, we put God first and customer is king.
Blessed love.
It's gotten harder and harder to get your daily requirement of vital nutrients from food alone. Without additional vitamin and nutrient support, your health and well-being can suffer drastically. That's why Z-Radical was specifically formulated. It combines a blend of antioxidant-rich vitamins, minerals, and botanicals with the protective powers of fucoidan to help fill the gaps from lack of nutrients in your foods. The core of Z-Radical is fucoidan, a naturally occurring polysaccharide that helps stimulate immune reaction, protecting you against inflammation and oxidative stress. We harvest this powerful mineral-rich nutrient from brown seaweed, harvested only from the world's most pristine ocean waters to ensure the purest quality. It's then extracted using cold process technology to ensure maximum levels of bioavailability. Then we add essential vitamins that help to protect your cardiovascular and nervous systems and are crucial for optimal immune and neurological function. Z-Radical also includes a proprietary blend of delicious antioxidant-rich fruits and berries. This great-tasting combination helps your body combat free radical imbalances that can contribute to a variety of degenerative conditions like arthritis and heart disease. Z-Radical. Experience the power of fucoidan with antioxidant-rich berries, 8 essential vitamins, and more to provide you with potent health benefits. To learn more, contact your Longevity associate.
Welcome back to GPS Global Paradigm Shift on this Wellness Wednesday. Michelle Malcolm in your company. Today we're talking about how to slow down and reverse the aging process, because it is not a normal part of aging for you to be old and sick and tired. That is not true. And anybody who tells you that, yeah, they're misinformed. Your body was designed to regenerate. Is that a caller for the show? Caller, welcome to GPS.
Hi.
Hello.
Am I on?
You are.
Okay. I just tuned in, so I don't know what you're talking about yet. But I just wanted to notice over the past few months, I get the longevity True to Life packet of pills, and they're 4 pills. And I've noticed over the past few months that lately some of the mix-up, there's supposed to be 4 pills. 1 of each and then 2 of one. And sometimes I'm not getting 1 of one at all and 2 of another one that I'm not supposed to be getting. Who should I complain to?
Who did you buy the products through?
Well, you set it up for me.
Okay.
And then every month I would, not every month, usually every 3 months, I'd buy like 3 months supply.
Okay. So here's what to do. Who am I speaking?
This is Diane.
Who is it?
Diane Harvey.
Okay, Diane, I'll contact you after the show.
Okay.
All right?
Thanks.
Okay.
Bye.
All right. So we're getting back to talking about the topic at hand today, which is anti-aging, slowing down and even reversing the aging process. And so, aging is a part of everyday life. The minute you're born, you start to age. They say that from the moment you're born, you start to die. It sounds morbid, but it's true, because from the moment you're born, you're getting older, and you're beginning that road down the road of life, which is aging is a normal part of it. It's guaranteed to happen to everyone, and eventually, if you don't die young, you will get older. That is just a fact of life. And most people will slow down, and we all will eventually die. And this is something that we've just accepted as the way it is. But what if we really don't understand what aging is about at all? What if we are totally off with this? What if it didn't have to be this way? What if we could slow down the clock and eventually turn it back? Researchers are developing ways to unlock the tools within our own bodies to help us do exactly that. And in this next series of clips, we are going to be taking a look at something a little different called health regeneration. So this is more now than just understanding that you can slow it down, but now we're going a little deeper into science to understand how the body can regenerate itself. Take a listen to this.
These are 2 mice. One looks young and healthy, the other decrepit and old. But these mice were actually born on the same day. In fact, they're twins. Dr. Sinclair at Harvard Medical School led a team of researchers in this experiment. The goal was altering the epigenome in the DNA in one of these mice. So what is an epigenome? In short, it's responsible for coiling up and turning on and off parts of a DNA string as required. Depending on the parts of the DNA that is turned on and off means the difference between creating a skin cell versus a nerve cell. Our DNA is effectively the code which tells our cells what to be. As we age, researchers believe that our DNA epigenomes unravel, and other parts that weren't meant to be coiled become so. Effectively, our bodies begin to create the wrong cells in the wrong places. This deterioration of epigenetic information is what Dr. Sinclair's team accelerated in one of the mice. Therefore, one mouse literally aged faster than its twin. Aging is in fact something that our DNA tracks very accurately and quantitatively. This is how it's done. DNA is made up of 4 different components called nucleobases. They are A, C, T, and G, and they're paired together to make the famous double helix structure. Over the course of our lifetime, methyl groups, which are just a carbon with 3 hydrogens, begin to attach to the C components of our DNA. By measuring your DNA through a blood sample or a mouth swab, Scientists, with the help of AI, can tell exactly how old you are based on how many methyl groups you have. This is called the Horvath clock. It's extremely accurate and can even predict when you'll die. This is a recent discovery, and it's not just an accurate measure of biological age. Researchers believe that the clock itself is part of the aging mechanism. Hence, physically being able to dial back the hands of the clock could mean becoming physically younger. However, this appears to be one of many interconnected mechanisms that control aging. The analogy used by Dr. Sinclair is that our epigenetic information is lost over our lifetime, much like a CD gets scratched over time and begins to glitch. The old theory was that our DNA information gets lost over time as we succumb to entropy. In the old theory, the damage comes through free radicals, oxidization, DNA mutations, and damage. Dr. Sinclair believes that we should throw that theory out. It's not the loss of DNA itself, but the on and off switches on our DNA. So, is there a way to polish our genetic CD and get the information back? And if we push the reset button, how many times can we do it? Is there a limit?
So here's my theory. My theory is that if this is equivalent to a CD that gets scratches, how about we don't scratch it to begin with? that might help. But I must say that I found this information to be very fascinating, to see how they can actually, through their experiments, they were actually able to get, and for my radio audience, I apologize because I know you can't see it, but I really highly recommend that you actually go and watch the show when you get an opportunity to do so on Facebook, because to see how much older that the mouse was compared to its twin, and they were both the same age, which in human years was equivalent to about 65, 70 years. And they went on to show that not only was the mouse that they sped up the aging, not only did it look older, but all of its systems were older. Whereas even though its twin was the same age chronologically, because it biologically was so much younger, its system was so much younger, it was able to do so much more that would be associated with a younger mouse than its twin was able to do. And we're going to look at that in detail in one of the clips. And obviously this research is still very much in developmental stage. So in other words, I think if I remember correctly from one of the clips, they're just now starting to try to do trials on elderly humans, but it's a long way off before this is something that can be readily available to the masses. But the research is so fascinating as to what this information means for aging. We have a caller on the line. Caller, welcome to GPS.
Good afternoon, Michelle.
Good afternoon.
How you doing?
Great, thank you.
Pre-59. How you doing? I mean, you feel like you're 17, 16, 15?
Not as young as that, but because your mind is also a very big part of this whole aging thing. You are as old as you feel as well.
Mm-hmm.
And the thing is, you don't get older in your mind. At least I don't.
Yeah.
So I still feel, like I could be in my 20s or 30s.
So it's hard to benchmark exactly which year I'm talking about. Like
I mean, you can't say. I know it ain't 15 because 15 was, you're kind of crazy when you're a teenager.
You could do black back the first time I saw it at the age, without feeling any pain or anything.
I mean, it is what it is, but you don't feel older as you get older. You really don't in your mind. At least I don't, and maybe that is helping me to, beat this a little bit. But your mindset is a major part of it. If you think you're old, you're gonna look exactly how you think.
But I can tell you the difference from last week and this week calling a show.
Mm-hmm.
You sound like you're right in the room today, and last week sounded like you was down in a tube.
Well, I don't know why.
Yeah, but I mean, they corrected the problem. That's a good thing.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, but Michelle, them zombie cells you talking about, right? Not that. Don't laugh again, right? Michelle, them zombie cells make you ugly, right? Because they get ugly like as they age, right? I was talking to one doctor last night on the other talk show, and I asked her what you could do for ugly people. Because look at when they look in the mirror when I'm in 2018, when I look in the mirror, I had dengue, right? I look in the mirror. I see this thing, I look, right, and they tell me one day, right, the thing 10 years, see me, tell me, and they tell me the X-ray, then they look, I say, boy, well, that's me. I start to cry, it's so ugly, right? And after the second, right, in my head, it's like, but you have a good heart and all that stuff, right? And that's what gave me the audacity to walk out ugly as I is without trying to even justify anybody. I ugly, my place in space, ugly people stay in the corner because people don't like ugly people. I'm not trying to agree, Michelle. You know your place in your space. You don't go pushing yourself around with people who think they're pretty because they think they're better than you. It's deep, Michelle.
Ugly ain't got nothing to do with age.
I know, but I could say probably age because I remember when I was on some. But when I look at the I'd be like, ugly, this ugly piece of.
Let's get serious now, because you're eating up some. You eating up some serious time right now that we can be talking serious stuff. So let's get serious, please.
I'm sound humorous, right? But I'm serious. But I don't know. Maybe the zombie cell. But then you're talking about copper, right? Copper is to be synthesized through plants or to really work in the human body. Am I wrong? Or some people just go to the medical store and get some copper shavings and put it in it.
No, it don't work like that.
Because remember, the complex, right, with iron.
I talk all the time about how you need to have plant-derived sources of nutrition.
Yeah, synthesis. Yeah, plant.
Yeah.
But which plant or you didn't do your research to tell you which is the best plant to use to put out the reversing process?
You have certain, like nuts, for instance, that have a good amount of copper. But the point is that you can't just go and suck on copper.
It has to be. Copper has to come to a legume.
Pardon me?
Copper has to come to a legume plant.
That is one source. Yeah. There are other sources as well. But the point is, the plant has to be the one to suck it up, and then you consume the plant, and that's how you get it into your body. Okay?
Yeah, and the reversing process basically all depends on how far you upgrade would determine how long you'd be on a particular plant or like I say, the synthesis to a plant, to a pill, whatever.
You need it's like gasoline for a car. When people ask me how long I got to be on this nutrition, I say, how long you got to put gas in your car? It's what your body needs to function. And so if you stop giving it what it needs to function, then you're going to run into a problem of nutritional deficiencies. So it's not something that you say take for a week and then you ain't got to take it no more. It's just like gas for the car. You got to keep putting gas in the car.
And Michelle, an important thing with all of the nutrition and all that too, a part of it is that sunlight that people always fear to go into. And when you listen to the radio, they say, the heat index is like 120. Do not go out in the sun because, you're going to have a heat stroke. But you know what? Michelle, I tell you no lie, right? I look at it in an opposite way because, you know what? As much as we can take, as much as we can, I'm talking about, if you can take plenty sun, you can take plenty cold, right? The pendulum swings as much as to the right to the left, right? And it's like this. If you can't go in the sun because you're going to stroke out, you probably, like I say, you may be on pills or something like that that's causing your body normal functions not to work because your pores are supposed to open up and everything. If you're drinking water's going to come out of the sweat.
Okay. So, caller, you're really eating up a lot of my time and you're taking me off topic. So let me get back to my topic, please.
Okay.
All right. Thank you so much for calling. I do appreciate the call. All right. So we're talking anti-aging today. And in that last clip, you would have learned about how it is possible. This research now is showing that it's possible to literally turn back the clock. One of the aspects of this possibility of regeneration is something called NAD. And in their research, they figured out how to increase NAD levels in the mice. And they were just amazed at what they saw as a result of that discovery. So let's go to that clip.
The doctor and his team were much more interested in reversing the processes of aging rather than inducing it. What would come after the initial mouse experiment could prove to be a revolutionary step. Again, these are 2 mice on a treadmill. Both are 20 months old, the equivalent of approximately 70 human years, but one has been treated with a chemical compound known as NMN. If you guessed the mouse on the right, you'd be correct. Treated mice ran on average 430 meters compared to the untreated control group, which ran 240 meters. As the experiments progressed, some peculiar things began to happen.
The mice that we treated with NMN, they just ran and ran and ran. They actually broke the little treadmill in my lab because they ran so far. And I get a text from the researcher, hey, the machine broke. And I said, check the software. And it turns out the software was written to stop at 3 kilometers because no mouse had run that far before.
That's long.
And those are old mice. Don't forget,
Yeah.
these are mice that are the equivalent of a 65-year-old human. They ran and ran and ran. They didn't get lactate buildup as much. They just didn't feel tired.
These chemical compounds all help increase something called NAD levels in the body. Dr. Sinclair's research is trying to link NAD with aging. NAD is central to the metabolic system, helping carry electrons between reactions within all living cells. Sinclair and his team are testing NAD boosting drugs on the elderly and hoping to get FDA approval for use in diseases in the next 3 years. Other factors apart from specific drugs that boost NAD levels are natural things such as exercise, a good diet, and even fasting, which Dr. Sinclair practices himself. So to be clear, living a healthy lifestyle naturally boosts your NAD levels. But it's the drug component of increasing NAD levels that is potentially a game changer. However, there's understandably some controversy around so-called fountain of youth pills. Some saying current research doesn't back up the claims, others using anecdotal evidence to the contrary. While there is evidence to show that the use of compounds such as M&M increase NAD levels in the body, there still isn't concrete evidence that NAD levels increase longevity, and human trials are still ongoing. There is, however, a decline of NAD levels with age, and this was the spark that turned researchers to focus on NAD as a proponent of aging. With time, we will see if the trials on mice can be carried over to humans.
So in the meantime, while you're waiting for that, because that could be for another 10 years, did you notice in the clip they said that a healthy lifestyle, healthy diet, etc., exercise, naturally increases NAD? They spent all this money and research and time, which is fine because you understand it scientifically. But you could be getting exactly what they are discovering by doing it naturally. Making sure you're putting the right things into your body and make sure you're getting enough movement, exercise, and eating well. Intermittent fasting is also very, very good. And you naturally will increase the levels of NAD in your body because NAD is something that the body naturally produces. So I cannot make a greater case for the importance of ensuring that you're getting adequate nutrition. And I say it often, you can't get it from food alone. Because I see people asking, what food do you need to eat for copper? You can't get it from food alone because you'd have to eat so much of that particular food that it just wouldn't be sustainable. That's just the world we live in nowadays. So it's important that you get good quality nutrition through supplementation, and not just any nutrition, but plant-derived nutrition. Okay? Because as the clip said, as researchers have found, you could get all of this right now. You don't have to wait for it to go through the 10-year process of them creating this drug and then getting FDA approval, and then the drug isn't going to be as good as the natural way of doing it anyway, because, you know, if it's a drug, it's the synthetic version. And you want to go more for the natural version. So you can increase your NAD naturally. How? By ensuring that you get adequate nutrition nutrify the body. You get some good old-fashioned movement, and you're making sure that you're not doing the damage that could lead to you depleting the NAD in your body. Simple as that. Now, obviously, there are other factors involved as well. And we're going to cover all of that, because another part that has to be considered is nerve regeneration. That is also a very, very important part of this conversation. Your nerves, I know people say, boy, you're getting on my nerves. Well, we're going to learn what it really means to get on your nerves in this next clip, because nerve regeneration is critical to the whole process of anti-aging and reversing the hands of time.
But this all doesn't end there. Another interesting discovery, which may be fundamental to getting humans to be able to regenerate their bodies, is something called the Yamanaka factors. These are named after the Nobel Prize winner, Dr. Yamanaka. He used these factors to convert human adult cells into stem cells, effectively a blank canvas to be used anywhere in the body. Dr. Sinclair's team attached some of the Yamanaka factors to a benign virus and then injected it into 2 mice. The researchers pinched an optical nerve in the eye of both mice, effectively crushing it. Now young cells will regenerate and heal themselves, while old cells will struggle. Some species even have the ability to grow entirely new limbs. What if there was a way to find the part of our epigenome responsible for regrowing damaged or lost parts of our bodies, and then turn it on? More on this later. Back to the experiment. The effect of the Yamanaka factor virus can be seen. The top image shows no treatment, and the cells don't regenerate and fix themselves. The bottom image shows a treated mouse. The cells in this mouse actually begin to grow back towards the eye, and within 16 weeks, they repair entirely. Could this eventually be a key to treating degenerative diseases? For example, poor vision due to age. Perhaps this technology could repair the eyesight of the elderly, and maybe even injuries like spinal injuries. It's interesting to think about. Dr. Sinclair explains that at least in mice, researchers know that they can positively improve vision. The cells that were old begin to wake up. They begin to remember that they are a photoreceptor cell and not a half-skin cell. They are measurably younger. Parts of their genome that are meant to be on are turned on, and the parts that are meant to be off are coiled up. And even if this is true just for mice, it really is amazing.
We find that with our reprogramming, we can make the nerves be just like a newborn baby. They grow back. And then we also tested on glaucoma, pressure in the eye. We increase pressure in the mouse's eye and they lose largely their eyesight, and we can recover that. And then we also test old mice that don't see very well, and we also seem to improve their eyesight almost back to normal. So what I don't think we'll be going to nursing homes anytime soon, but what we are doing is running a clinical trial on this. And so we're looking to do that in early 2020.
And the clinical trial will be on people with glaucoma or various eye issues?
The plan is glaucoma first, but it could work for other damaged retinas as well. Even broken spinal cords we're thinking of trying.
So here's a news flash. You can actually do that in humans with nutrition and with fixing the damage that led to the problem in the first place. That's a major part of this conversation. Because when it comes to things like glaucoma, for instance, a big part of the problem is the damage of the tiny vessels that take the oxygen, the blood, etc., to the eye area. And so when they become clogged, it builds up a pressure. So the thing is to unclog them to relieve the pressure. Now you say, how do you do that, Michelle? That's impossible. No, it's not. There are certain nutritional things that you can take, that you can do, that can unclog those arteries to relieve that pressure. And once you do that, plus you're giving your body the nutrition it needs, as we saw in the clip just now, your body knows what to do to fix itself in the right environment, under the right conditions. So a big part of this conversation has to be undoing the damage. This is why we see such good results when we're dealing with kidney patients, because kidney patients are told that when you get to the stage of being, say, on dialysis, your only option at that point is to continue dialysis and hope for a kidney transplant, because the kidneys, that's it, they can't fix itself anymore. That's not true. The truth is, the problem is the blockage to the kidneys. Those clogged arteries. Why are the arteries clogged? Because you've been eating a bunch of foods that are causing inflammation. That inflammation is causing damage to the arteries. And so, coupled with the inflammation, the cholesterol rushes to the area to try to fix the damage that was caused. And so now you have a problem with blood flow. And you have a blockage to the kidneys. So the kidneys stop functioning because they're not getting the dirty blood anymore. So you're being told that the only thing you could do is go to dialysis and hope for a kidney transplant. But all you need to do is first of all, stop doing the damage. Stop eating the inflammatory foods. Second of all, take the right nutrition to unclog those arteries. It is possible. I've seen it. We've been able to get people off of dialysis, and the doctor will never say that, because as far as they're concerned, that's impossible, but it's not. So once you unclog those arteries, once you stop doing the ongoing damage, your kidneys spring back into function. Your body knows what to do. Our problem is we have been killing ourselves by taking things that are destroying the body, and then on top of that, not giving the body what it needs to function. So all the scientific stuff we're learning is just proof positive that is written into your DNA. Your body knows what to do to fix itself. We have seen people regrow cartilage, told your only option is knee replacement surgery. That's not true. You can regrow cartilage. Your body only needs nutrition. 3 months later, they walk in again with no surgery. Cartilage grew back. I have a client who was being told by the doctors he had sciatica, and he was being told by the doctors his only option was surgery on his spine. He heard me talking about this on the radio. Called me up. He says, "Do you think this can help?" I say, "No, I know it can help. You don't need surgery. You need nutrition, and you need to stop doing the damage." He decided to give it a try. And he said that, he would have seen a video with Dr. Joel Wallach talking about how when you're talking about rebuilding cartilage and bone diseases, it could take up to 2 years to completely heal, because you're talking about building bone, building cartilage back. That's, some things like high blood pressure, that can be fixed in a matter of a couple of weeks. But when you're talking about having to regrow cartilage, it's going to take a little bit longer. But he decided to give it a try. And he said that like a year and a half after he decided to start, he went back to his doctor to get, the pain had stopped, but he wanted to see if what he was doing was really working. So he went back to his doctor to get a second MRI done, and just to see if what he was doing was really working. And he says the doctor looked at the old one, looked at the new one, looked at the old MRI, looked at the new one, and then looked at him and said, "Why are you here? You ain't no pain or nothing, eh? Why are you here?" He says, "Well, I just want to see if what I'm doing is working." He says, "Well, from what I see in this MRI, your spine is healed by over 75%. Strictly nutrition. Now, remember now, he was being told that his only option was surgery. I say all that to say, your body knows what to do. It is written into the program. And while these people spending a lot of time in research, praise the Lord, because, it's good to know how it works. The point is it works. But you got to give the body the support that it needs. So I have a comment. It says, Ms. Malcolm, good show, keeping us mindful. However, these people won't say this research is as a result of a Black lady, Henrietta Lacks, scientists discovered and used her cells from her body that never died. She's known as the immortal lady. Melatonin and glutathione are both very important oxidative stress suppressors, which hasten cell death. Thank you, 52, for that. All right, let's take this break. When we come back from the break, we are going to learn more about how you can do all of this without waiting for that research to be complete in 10 years. Good news, people. Good news. The Fountain of Youth is very much available to you right now. You just got to decide that you want it. We'll be back after these words from our sponsors.
Understanding your microbiome, also known as your gut ecosystem, can change everything you thought you knew about nutrition, digestion, immunity, and metabolism. Keeping your gut ecosystem healthy and balanced is essential. Ultimate Microbiome by Youngevity was specifically formulated to optimize this ecosystem. It provides the advanced support your gut needs through prebiotic, probiotic, and postbiotic supplementation. Our unique blend of probiotics includes Lactobacillus and Plantarum, healthy bacteria that can help prevent harmful bacteria from taking over your gut. Increasing your gut's population of beneficial bacteria creates a more balanced gut microbiome, which has been shown to aid in weight loss, skin health, sleep, mood, and may even help with seasonal allergies. Ultimate Microbiome also promotes the production of postbiotics. Postbiotics are key to help regulate your gastrointestinal health. To enhance digestion, Digizyme Multi-Enzyme Complex, a blend of 5 specific enzymes, has been added to Ultimate Microbiome. It can help break down food so your body can better absorb nutrients. Plus, we've added our proprietary I-26 Hyperimmune Egg Powder to aid in the elimination of disease-causing gut bacteria and help your body balance its immune response. Ultimate Microbiome, the scientific, proprietary, and holistic approach to gut health that helps optimize your body's entire gut ecosystem. To learn more, contact your Youngevity associate.
Welcome to Sunshine Auto, the hardest place on the planet for a rims, paint, and tires.
We are your auto superstore for rims, Lexani, Azaras, Trueform, Western, Lux, Fuel, Tracklight, Tough, Rough Racing, Velocity, Mud, All-Terrain, and low-profile tires. Cars, homes, and commercial window tinting. At Sunshine Auto, we put God first and customer is king.
Glasses love.
To stay healthy, it's crucial to make sure you get the nutrition you need every day. But it's difficult to get all your recommended vitamins and minerals from food alone. Even in the United States, 94% of people are deficient in at least one nutrient. Beyond Tangy Tangerine 2.0 by Youngevity is a simple, convenient, and affordable way to help your body get the essential nutrients it needs. It's an advanced plant-driven multivitamin mineral complex that contains certified organic whole foods, trace minerals, and antioxidants. BTT 2.0 supports your body's natural defense system with a proprietary blend of energy-boosting and body-loving nutrients, plus prebiotics, probiotics, amino acids, and enzymes that support digestion. With an unusually high ORAC score of 8,000, you get even more antioxidants to help combat free radicals that can cause damage to your cells. But to get the most benefit and value from any multivitamin, your body must be able to break down the nutrients so you can fully absorb them. Otherwise, they'll just pass through your system without doing any good. Beyond Tangy Tangerine 2.0 was specially formulated with synergizing cofactors to ensure you get maximum nutrient absorption. Beyond Tangy Tangerine 2.0 is the easiest way to give your body the balance and complete daily vitamin mineral supplement it needs for optimal support of your overall health. To learn more, contact your Youngevity associate.
This portion of GPS is brought to you by Tiki Bikini Hut at Junkanoo Beach. Great food, cool tropical drinks, and family fun in the sun. And we are back. Welcome back to GPS, Global Paradigm Shift on Global 99.5 FM. Michelle Malcolm here in your company. And today we're talking anti-aging, how to turn back the hands of time. You don't have to be old and tired, sick and tired. You can actually reverse this thing and, age gracefully, they say. No, age very, very well. Now, we people of darker hue, we have a little bit of an advantage. They say black don't crack. And there's a reason for that, because we have a lot more melatonin in the skin, which is actually, helps to protect against the sun rays. So the darker your skin, the more blessed you are, because it means that you will age very well if you're not doing damage. And if you're giving the body what it needs, you should be able to age very, very well the darker your skin, because that means you have more melatonin. But understand that, let's conclude this whole research, and then we're going to move on to how you can do this thing naturally. Okay, so we're gonna conclude that series of clips, and then we're gonna look at doing this naturally.
Dr. Sinclair's work is on the cutting edge of research into the aging process. While he doesn't claim to have found the fountain of youth, his research is very promising and could lead to some very inspirational outcomes. At the very least, we could help improve health for those later in life. This would give people a better quality of life in their final decades. But interestingly, it could also save trillions of dollars in the long run, as there would be much less of a burden on our healthcare systems. But at best, we could unravel the secrets to our own bodies, discovering parts in our DNA we never knew existed. We could help reverse diseases that are incurable today and live longer and healthier too. This field is a rapidly evolving one, and right now is still in the research stage. It will probably be decades before this technology, if even possible, will become available for widespread use. Regardless, it's still interesting to see how such new fields of research are emerging. Of course, there should be some caution in how we proceed when it comes to modifying genetics. But for increasing NAD levels at least, there doesn't seem to be much of a downside, and that's probably because NAD is a natural chemical that comes from a healthy diet and exercise. If we do in fact get there, this could turn out to be one of the most pivotal things the human race has ever done. I'll be watching this space.
With every action, we assume there's some negative consequence or potentially negative consequence, right?
We always assume that, but it's not always right. So with the molecules that we've been testing for years now, like NMN, we haven't seen any downside, just longer endurance and protection. So there isn't always a downside to these things. In fact, if you just think NMN is replacing a molecule that we lose over time as we get older, it's just becoming, it's a fairly natural process. No downside exercising and dieting either.
And that's the point. Instead of waiting until you have a problem and then hoping for a drug to fix that problem, we should just not create the problem. NAD naturally occurs with good diet and exercise, point blank. So you definitely, and I'm going to show you proof right now, you definitely can do something about it now. You don't have to wait for them to come up with something. Even if you feel that you're so far gone that you didn't take care of your body and now you're feeling old, it's never too late, because your body innately knows what to do. So Claudette says a lot of persons don't believe that nutrition can heal them. They believe in the pharmaceutical industry that only treats symptoms instead of getting rid of the problem. They like quick fix. And that's the problem. You're right. People like a quick fix, but quick fix isn't always the answer. Hasheen says, nature can't and doesn't turn back or reverse its process. And in the case of human genetics or DNA, when other human beings disrupt and manipulate DNA by bypassing nature's laws, you're only creating long-term unforeseen dysfunctions. The bigger problem is that some life recessive people believe they can break nature's laws to eat and be whatever they want and still live in nature. Well, if you don't take care of your body, don't expect your body to take care of you. Bottom line. Now, anti-aging is something that can be done naturally. And we're going to learn how in this clip, and then I'm going to show you evidence of somebody who is defying age. But first, check this out.
We really don't have control of time. We can't turn the clock back. The years will pass. But do you know that so many things are blamed on age? It's not true. I was getting ready.
Walked away from his control room, so I'm not sure why we couldn't hear that. I don't know if he has something closed. Jason, if you're under the sound of my voice, can you come back into the studio, please? Okay. Let's try this one more time to see if we can get this clip to play. If anybody out there can hear me, can you send Jason back into the studio, please? I'm going to try it one more time. If not, we'll move on.
We really don't have control of time. We can't turn the clock back. The years will pass. But do you know that so many things are blamed on age? It's not true. I was getting ready to run the Boston Marathon, and there's a group of us, and there's this cute little old lady walking there, and we're just all amazed, all of us. There's so
that again.
We really don't have control of time. We can't turn the clock back. The years will pass. But do you know that so many things are blamed on age? It's not true. I was getting ready to run the Boston Marathon, and there's a group of us, and there's this cute little old lady walking there, and we're just all amazed, all of us. There's several of us gathered around her. We come to find out it's her 80th birthday. She's about to run a marathon. That's what all of us should be capable of. So when I talk about anti-aging, I'm talking about not allowing the body to lose its function. That's really what it comes down to. It's not really the passage of time. Your body does not wear out. It regenerates itself. We know that the entire body can regenerate itself in a year. The liver and the lining of your stomach regenerate in days. So that with this turnover of cells, with this ability to regenerate, it's not like a lawnmower. Your body can maintain a reserve. Now, what do I mean by a reserve? When you're younger, you have this huge reserve, right? You can eat dirt. You can roll on the floor. You can fall down. It doesn't seem to faze you. Well, as time passes, and especially if you don't take care, you lose that reserve. Then you start having symptoms. Symptoms that we want to blame on aging. But it's not aging. In a sense, it's neglect. If your joints hurt, if you've got all these allergies, if you've got a number of diseases, if you're stuck with a bunch of labels, most of them are a result of your lifestyle, if not all of them. When we talk about anti-aging, we're talking about exerting that control, not letting that reserve disappear. With a little bit of care, you can, in a sense, anti-age. Because if you keep your body healthy, if you work within the parameters the body can work with, if you keep it functional, you can keep it young. It's not the number of years, it's the abuse. The neat part of it is that you can turn that around. With some care, with some conditioning, with proper lifestyle, you can beat aging. Growth hormone. It's considered the anti-aging hormone. Your body's supposed to be able to make growth hormone until the day you die. It has the capacity to do so. But most of us with time decline in our production of it. So get your sleep. You will make yourself some more anti-aging hormone. The other time is during intense exercise. Not so intense that you can't do it, but more intense than a walk to the mailbox. So exercise and sleep, and you'll make some growth hormone, and you'll be doing anti-aging. So you can practice anti-aging yourself. You can go to an anti-aging clinic, but it's really about how you treat your genetics and not the amount of time that they've been here. Look at your diet. Are you eating things that allow your body to function better so that you have that reserve? So a little bit of stress can be contended with and not cause symptoms. Are you exercising? Because without activity, the body's not even going to make some of the things it takes to build that reserve. If you're not operating your body and allowing it to maintain the reserve, and in a sense anti-age, then you're going to feel the effects of what you're calling aging. So you want to build that reserve through your lifestyle. The better you take care of yourself, the younger you will feel, and you will be biologically younger as well. That's anti-aging. A lot of it is what you do for yourself, but anti-aging is something that you certainly should practice because it's no fun getting old.
All right, people. So understand this. You have the fountain of youth at your fingertips. You already have it right there. You don't have to wait for some magical drug 10 years from now and hope that you could hang on long enough. Listen, you can do this. And if you don't believe me, especially my Facebook audience, I'm going to play a very short clip. This clip was taken, and it's just music from my radio audience. I'm so sorry because it's a visual thing. But this video was put up 4 months ago by the lady in this clip to celebrate her birthday. And as you watch this, Facebook audience, I want y'all to comment how old you think this woman is based on how she looks. Okay, so I'm just going to, it's only a short 30 seconds radio audience. So you'll hear 30 seconds of music. I'm going to put up this the image of her for her birthday photo shoot. And I want the Facebook audience to let us know how old they think this woman is based on how she looks. So what happened, Facebook audience? Y'all scared to guess it. Y'all don't know how old she is? You don't want to guess how old she is? I thought y'all would have been putting up some numbers. Okay, so my producer says she looks like she's in her 30s. Somebody on here obviously knows about her. They put that she's 74, but she looks 35. Somebody said, yeah, okay. That woman in that clip, her name is Chef Babette. And Chef Babette, I think, celebrated her 71st birthday a couple of months ago. And if you're listening on radio, I need you to go to Facebook and tune in to the last 13 minutes of this show to see how good that woman looks. She will put any 35-year-old to shame. Shoot, she looks even younger than that. Body for days. She started, some people are like, what? Yeah. No, she ain't waking Obia, Adrian. Adrian say she doing Obia. No, Adrian, she ain't waking Obia. She's just taking care of herself. She recently appeared on the Steve Harvey Show because she owns a soul food vegan restaurant in California. She's very, very famous. All you got to do is go to Google or YouTube and type in Chef Babette. The woman is well known because she looks so doggone good for her age. She looked good for anybody's age. But when I first came across her, I thought, oh, okay, this woman in her 30s, you know, doing her thing. Then when I hear the woman was over 70, I was like, man, y'all got to be joking. That's impossible. How? This is a recent appearance that she did on the Steve Harvey Show, sharing one of her recipes from her restaurant. And you get you get a good look at her in this clip if you're watching via Facebook. As she prepares this recipe for Steve. And if you're into cooking, I think you can find the recipe on Steve Harvey's website. But she also, talks about the ingredients that she puts into this particular dish. But this woman looks amazing. Check this out. This is her appearance on the Steve Harvey Show.
My next guest is one of my favorite chefs here in Los Angeles. And I kid you not. She has a vegan soul food restaurant in Inglewood called Stuff I Eat. Please welcome Chef Babette.
Thank you.
So, Chef Babette, how'd you get the idea for a vegan soul food restaurant?
My husband and I have eaten this way for now 30 years. Well, I met him in 1990, and in 1992 we got married. I was 40 years old at the time, so go.
I'm gonna just say, she's 70.
Go.
This is her.
Go.
She's 70. She attributes this to being a vegan. Now that I have your undivided attention, come on over here. Today, you're gonna make your #1 seller and one of my favorites, Lord have mercy, enchilada pie.
It really is like a huge seller at Stuff I Eat, and it's incredibly easy to make. So basically, we're gonna start with some tomato paste. We got water right here. You need some agave nectar, and we're gonna put a little Mexican seasoning in here. Next, we're gonna move right over to the blender, and we're gonna make what we call our SIE sauce, Stuff I Eat sauce. Got some silken tofu in here. We're gonna pour a little nutritional yeast. This stuff is really good for you. We're gonna blend it up. All right, so we got our SIE sauce ready to go. This is how we're gonna be.
You just keep talking. They're gonna go on the website and get the recipe.
Okay, but anyway, we're gonna just add the enchilada sauce to our corn chips and polenta. So once we have this all mashed in place, this is how simple this recipe is. I'm just so excited to show y'all this. We're just gonna dump all this. So we're gonna dip our corn tortillas, and you want them to overlap. All right, so what we're gonna do is put a little bit more of this red sauce on top of here. Now we're putting our cheese on here, and then we're gonna pop this in the oven. And after we're all done, this is what we got. So I'm gonna serve Steve a slice of this. Let's put some guac on there. He showed us some little spoons, and then some salsa. And then I want you to bite and tell me what you think.
Well, hi.
I could tell, huh? I'm sorry, boo.
You know how you trying to cool it?
Hey, trying to cool it, get the air in your mouth to cool it off. All right, so anyway, Steve got the enchilada pie. What'd y'all think? Simple, quick, big seller, trust. We got some kale greens here, and the lick to this is a little bit of smoky paprika. We also make our tacos and burritos out of a wild rice blend and black beans. But my absolute favorite, you see I got my little recipe book out here. I fell in love with making these desserts out of the cashew nut. So one of the first desserts I shared with Steve was the peanut power. Cause you know, power. He just remind me,
Yeah, all that.
Yeah, so
Please know that.
I figured.
All that, yeah.
And I put blueberries in this one. Okay, so that one ain't hot. Yes. Is that off the chain or what? Can I have a bite of yours?
Because you don't even know.
I want all of y'all to have some of this.
You know, sometimes when you eat healthy, it be trifling. That ain't what's happening at her spot. I've learned that you are what you eat. So by changing your diet, you change the clarity of your mind, change the clarity of your eyes, your energy level increases, your metabolism picks up, you feel better, you reduce inflammation in your body. One thing about vegetables, they reduce inflammation in the body. So if I could tell you all anything, that you are what you eat.
So yeah, Chef Babette is a huge inspiration to anybody who wants to live younger, longer. That woman, 71, how are you supposed to look like that at 71? Like how? But this tells you that you don't need to wait for some pill to come out to turn back the hands of time. This is at your fingertips now. You just have to decide that you want it. I was telling my family had a gathering on Monday, and we started talking about health and healing and all that kind of stuff. And I was saying to them, I said, you know, Some of y'all are complaining about a particular health condition, but you don't want to do anything to fix it. When I tell you what you need to do to fix it, you talking foolishness. I said, reminds me of a story I heard of this old man sitting on the porch with a dog, and the dog is howling the whole time. So finally somebody walks by, and he says, "Why is the dog howling?" He said, "Because he's sitting on a nail." So the man says, "Why don't you take him up off the nail?" So the old guy who owns the dog say, "No, when he get tired of the pain, he'll get up." So I said to my cousin, one of my cousins has bad acid reflux to the point where she got to sit up to sleep, but she wouldn't put down the thing what's causing acid reflux. So I said to her, "Well, get used to sleeping sitting up. You like that dog. When you get tired of the pain, you'll stop. Until such time, you can lay on the top of the nail howling." I say all that to say, people, that this is at your reach now. This is at your reach now. You could look like Chef Babette now. All you got to do is begin the journey. Just start. And I promise you, your body knows what to do and will correct itself once you give it what it needs, stop doing the damage, and get out of the way. So is there a way to reverse aging? You best believe there is. And if you're anything like me, I ain't going down without a fight. So I want to encourage you today to do what you need to do to get healthier. Because once you take care of your body, then truly, age ain't nothing but a number. Not the R. Kelly version. Not his version, but the version of our own legend, Ronnie Butler. So I am going to leave you today. Let me see if I can find it. With Ronnie Butler singing "Age Ain't Nothing But a Number." It's the truth. Only, though, if you do what it takes to protect your body, give your body what it needs to heal itself, stop doing the ongoing damage, and then watch your body grow young. My prayer for you is that you will be forever young, healthy, happy, wealthy, and wise. That's my time, guys. Here we are. I'm going to leave you guys with a reminder by the legendary Ronnie Butler. I forgot to upload it. Let me see if I can do that real quick. You have it? I wanted them. Okay, go ahead and play the song then. Age Ain't Nothing But a Number by Ronnie Butler. Take care, everybody.
Yes. All right. Here we go now. When I was a little boy running around the yard, I used to hear the older men talking by the bar. They talk about the things they did when they were young and strong, and how things are better now than it was before. I didn't understand what they meant back then. I'm a little older now. I think I comprehend when they say age ain't nothing but a number. You're just as old as you feel. Even though I move a little slower, everything I do is twice as sweet, just like wine. All the time, champagne, my name, caviar, from afar, candy, brandy,